Hello Helldivers, it's that leak guy again, and it's time for another dose of Helldivers 2 news and leaks. Let's get right into it. So, first of all, we finally have a new major order. This time we need to attack Zagon Prime and Fori Prime. At the moment you cannot really go to the planets, we need to finish with all of our other liberations, at least that's what it seems like. But the major order is finally in, so get ready for some action against the bugs. Just for some clarification on the order, all of our efforts were successful in actually using the big bug spray, so now we'll go and start culling the Terminate population in order to harvest the E710 that they provide, which is actually used to power up our ship's FTL travel, which, I gotta admit, it's kind of a cool thing. This is Inconsiderate Box and they're trying the effect of hunters as it comes to if you're using muscle enhancements or not. And this actually was a very good video. As you can see, with muscle enhancement, the slowdown effect from the hunters is not as bad, so I would definitely advise on you trying it out. It's a very good booster at the end of the day, so why not give it a shot? Now let's get into some leaks. Is there a clan system? It seems that Bisu Probe actually managed to find some mentions of clan IDs into the game files, which is extremely interesting, and it will tie with some of the other things we managed to find. But would you be actually excited to have a clan system in Helldivers, considering it's not even a PvP game, it's only PvE, but at the same time I would love to have a company with my friends and we would have the same goal, help the liberation efforts for Super Earth. I mean, that kind of sounds badass, I'm not gonna lie. And this brings us to this next leak. It seems that there might be a screen which contains war updates, and it's not very easy to read, but you can see soldiers active, and you have overall Helldivers, friends, and company members. That company members part most likely points us to a clan system. The war progress is just how many enemies we've killed, bullets we fired, etc, etc. But company members is something that I am very interested in, and I would be extremely excited to finally have a clan system in the game. What do you think about it? Shout off in the comments. Now, we also have a leak of some unreleased guns, which do look pretty cool. So this just seems like a new marksman rifle, and it's really difficult to say, but I would presume it's just the same style as the current marksman rifles we have. We'll see how it plays out. This is just a new sniper rifle. Honestly, I would love if we got one as a primary instead of using a stratagem slot for it. That for me would be the best option. In one of my previous league videos, there was an explosive marksman rifle which did seem to be a primary, and it was able to close automaton outposts, which should mean that it can also close bug holes. That would be super powerful if it was a primary, and I would probably always roll with it because at the moment I'm using the autocannon for this. I like to play that role, so if we got that as a primary, sheesh, that gets my jimmies ruffled. We also have a leaked rocket launcher, and it looks very imposing. It looks much cooler than the current EAT we have, and I think it will possibly be even more powerful. Just look at how it looks, man. Now, we also have another marksman rifle over here. It's pretty much like a sniper rifle that you need to lay down on the ground for in order to get like top value from it. A leak of a possible lever action / bolt action rifle that would make you feel like you're in Red Dead Redemption 2, some Wild Wild West type of ish, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty freaking dope. Someone from the leaks subreddit actually took the time to texture this bolt action rifle, and I just imagine rolling up in game with this and feeling like I'm in a Western movie. Oh my god, that would be sweet. We also have a leak of the expert extraction pilot. This should lower the extraction time with 15%, which actually sounds very substantial. So let's see how it works. On difficulty 3, it should be a 2-minute extraction time, minus 15%, it's a minute 42, and that actually comes up. On difficulty 6, it should be 4 minutes, minus 15%, 324, and that's what actually comes up. I gotta admit, this will probably be a very used booster. That along with muscle enhancements, along with the booster that lets you actually spawn with full ammo and full stims, would probably be a great combination. Now, as you may have seen from one of my previous videos, weapon customization seems to be very possible as it comes to this game, and I would be really excited if we actually got it. And we keep getting stuff leaked from the subreddit that point us to this direction. And as you can see, the name of the file, G-Scope Rifle. I don't know. I cannot be sure. As with every other leak, make sure you take this with a grain of salt. But this is something I really want to see in game. And if we actually get it, I would be so happy. Do you think you would be happy if we got weapons customization? I think most people would really love to see that. But again, tell me in the comments. And now we also have a leak of a new stratagem, the Scrambler. At the moment, we only have the name and what input you got to put in. We cannot even know if it's mission specific or not. And we have a leak of the recon vehicle. I believe that should be the ATV that we've already featured in some of our previous videos. There is also the Spire Sterilizer. There's also the Spire Sterilizer. Yes, I'm good with words. That does make it an Ego airstrike. We don't know what it will do, but at least we have the name and the input. And we also have a leak of a stratagem called the Stinger. I believe I featured the icon for it in one of my previous videos, and now we have a confirmation of it in-game from one of the leakers. That's really exciting. And the Displacer Pack, I haven't featured it before, but basically when you take damage, that should teleport you somewhere away from all of the enemies. We can also see a leak of the Trench Wall in-game as a stratagem, and it does have 3 charges, which actually could make it have at least some sort of value, because at least at the moment what I think, the Trench Wall is not really the best possible option. Maybe during an extraction it would be good. It depends on how much health it has and how much damage it can actually take, but it having 3 charges is definitely going to make it at least a little bit more viable than what I expect it to be. And we also have a leak of the Ego air-to-air missile stratagem that will basically be your Eagles shooting down anything that flies, which is kind of cool. And we are going to get a lot more flying enemies, so I expect it to be very useful at some point or another. And we have a leak of the missile silo, which we already know about, the medical supplies, which we already also know about, and Jammed Pinata. Now, Jammed Pinata, I have no idea what it is. It's a weird name. I am not really sure if this is something that's typical of Arrowhead Studios. It does seem a little bit far-fetched, but it's a screenshot from in-game testing, so I believe it should be true. As I said, leaks, you should always take them with a grain of salt. Now we have some images from the Illuminate which have been finally textured. This does seem to have been done by our friend here, Iron Sights. And I gotta admit, this is some really good work. If they look like this in-game, I would be extremely happy with the design, because look at this. This looks so cool, and it kind of looks Lovecraftian in a way, which I'm not the biggest fan of per se. It's not like I've read all the books and stuff, but I've read some, and Lovecraftian horror has always been a thing in media. Here's a leak of the Scout. The Scout looks kind of like a fish at sea. But when it's textured, it does have some spirit to it. It does have some character. We also have a textured version of their big Colossus type unit, which honestly looks really dope like this. And when the eye is glowing like that, I am almost sure it will have a laser sort of attack. And that kind of gets me both scared and excited for the future. But again, you see the tentacles over the mouth, very Lovecraftian and very thematic. Now, we also have a little bit more gameplay of the heavy machine gun. This actually looks like it will be in a trailer almost, because look, it's very cinematic, and I kinda gotta admit, it looks kinda cool. Yeah, buddy, shoot at those bugs. Do you think this heavy machine gun would be useful? To me, it seems like it might be, but we'll see. Some people have been maining the Stalwart, so this might be a good replacement for it if it has better armor penetration. We also have textured versions of the rocket launcher that I showed a little bit earlier. God, man, this just looks cool. Honestly, when I see the rocket and it's basically super pointy, I immediately think that it might actually be incendiary, but again, I believe these textured versions come from Iron Sights, and Iron Sights had textured them, and they're not already in the files like this. If they are, I would venture that most likely this is going to be an incendiary round, but I kinda doubt it. As far as I understand, Iron Sights is the person that textures them. It looks sweet. We also have some more images of the Illuminate finally textured, and these look extremely cool. They kind of remind me of the Destiny enemies in the Dreaming City. They kind of look like Taken when they look like this. If they look like this in game, I would be really happy with the way they come out. You can see also the tripod. The tripod actually might not be as bad as the Bio Titan, at least when I look at it like this, but I can still just see that laser coming out from that eye hole. And then we just have another angle of the tripod. It kind of looks like a brain with 3 legs. Kind of reminds me of Krang from the TMNT. Now we have a leak of the Quasar cannon again. We've gone to the section of things I've already shown you before, but as you can see, this thing can one-shot Bio Titans if you shoot them in the head, which is pretty wow, at least for me, because nothing can currently do that, and we finally might have a tool for them. So you can have a dedicated person who would be shooting down Bio Titans and Chargers and things like this. We also have a leak of the incendiary grenade launcher, which would be perfect for ad control. It shoots very fast and it leaves a very big fire trail. I believe it will be super useful. We also have a better leak of the trench wall. Now, as you can see, this is the trench wall variant that has the grenade launcher in front. It does seem like at the lower difficulties, it might be much more useful just because the enemy density is not as high. At the higher difficulties, I still have my reservations for it just because, I mean, it's a wall. It's a wall. It really does depend on how much health it has. At the moment, I am very skeptical, but I might be proven wrong. I honestly kind of would hope that I get proven wrong for this, but we'll see. Now, we also have another leak from the Commando. The interesting part about it is that it takes 1 round for the Commando to take down outposts, which will make it very useful in all types of missions. And you can't miss with it. Just look, boom, 1 shot, outpost gets taken down. Clearing objectives will be a lot easier with it, and I would like to see such tools in the game. I think they would be really good, and they would allow us to actually have roles in the team. We already kind of can have dedicated roles in a team where you know that person 1 is taking down outposts and closing bug holes with the autocannon, and then you can have person 2 who takes care of ads and things of that nature, and person 3 who can take care of chargers and, you know, big things, and person 4 preferably would be able to flex. But at the end of the day, you only have just a couple of choices in each category, so the Commando would open up more space and would allow us to try different stuff out. Now, we also have a leak of the Emancipator again. I've featured this mech so many times, but I just wanted to show you in a very nice video quality. It looks freaking dope, and I'm gonna stress again, it kind of looks like a Lamborghini with autocannons on it, which is so cool. And finally, we have a leak of the missile silo. This is probably the thing that I have the least patience to get in game because it looks like something I would use very often. It seems like you only have 1 charge for it, but you basically just take the laser pointer, which is used for targeting. You need to pick your target, and the missile launches very silently, and boom, it shoots down the detector tower. This actually opens up a possible position for a scout on your team because they would be able to go down the missile silo, go around the map, check out what's up, and if they see a detector tower or if they see a jammer, the missile silo seems like it has a lot of range, so they can just, you know, mark whatever the high priority target is and take it down with the rocket, which I gotta admit, it's a very smart thing. If we are able to have more dedicated roles in a team, that would make personally me very happy because it would mean that you can have structure and at the same time you would be able to also have choices on how you structure your team, who does what, etc, etc. It would basically give more control in the hands of the people, which is always a good thing. And that's about it for all of the Helldivers 2 news and leaks, guys. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to my channel for even more Helldivers 2 news and leaks. And I'll see you in the next one.